The market's crashing. What will happen? Well, nobody knows what will happen, but this is NC Hammer Crypto. My name is Neil, where we keep technical analysis short and sweet, and we always start off with Bitcoin for the most part. I have these orange lines in the back here representing what we've seen in the past. When we zoom out, we can see that there was this channel going sideways, which is essentially this area down here around the 108,000. And then we broke out of that structure, had a little bit more of consolidation, drop down, and then a push up, which would be this point at 123,000. And then a major red candle, which would be essentially this pushing it underneath this upward trend line. Consolidation, push down, consolidation, and then push down to liquidate everybody who is trying to sell or get out within this area. Take everybody's money and then take off in the opposite direction. What I'd like to do is show you another example of what it could be. We could see that. Is that a possibility? Yes. I don't think it will hit that low, but if you are trying to shake people out of Bitcoin before it takes off, that is definitely an area where a lot of people would be regretting their investment decisions and would take out a lot of people's money, and a lot of buyers would be buying Bitcoin right back up to the all-time highs. That is a possibility. Right now, I'm going more with this possibility of potentially breaking 108. What will that do to the rest of the market? Most likely crash it for a very short period of time. However, the flowing of money can be moving from Bitcoin into Ethereum and smaller altcoins. Looking at Toshi, we had that major pump. We are waiting for the retracement to see if it'll hold off the 200 EMA or potentially push all the way back down towards this downward trend line. So that's all I really have to say about Toshi, but it is starting to show some more bullish momentum. IOTX, also one to consider. It's got a lot of room to run to the upside. It did break the structure of the upward trend line, but it pulled right back up into it. Is now trying to close up above this upward trend line. As you see, we have about 8 hours on this chart, but we want to see that push up and close above that black upward trend line. If not, we would start considering the possibilities of seeing a downward trend and seeing if it breaks this structure. If it can still manage to consolidate and push over that, we can expect to start pulling upwards with the 200 EMA, as the RSI is right at the 50. We just need a little bit of volume and the potential pullback. It did hit the 618. The next stop would have to be at 0.025, which is less likely, but it is a possibility. Just keep an eye on IOTX. Once we get over that 200 EMA and ultimately get over this 0.34, that is a very good entry for IOTX. Another one I constantly recommend, in the description below for the reference link for MEXC, but you can buy Tornado Cash on MEXC, and it is very, very healthy. I keep telling myself over in the videos to put more money in Tornado Cash, as we have all this liquidity pushing up with the water, the 200 EMA keeping nice and tight at a respectable distance, and we just need to see this start breaking this downward trend line, as we've touched it multiple times. If we can get a push over that while holding above $11, everything is looking very, very good for Tornado Cash. Yeah, we just need a little bit of volume, and its all-time high is around $459. So not a bad bet for around a $11 investment, potentially half a grand. Moving to Doge, in consolidation as expected, trying to hold above the 21 cent area, this green line, and trying to respect more or less the Fibonacci retracement at 618. Keeping in mind this is a meme coin, not typically the best thing to be investing in, but it does make some pretty substantial gains very quickly, and it may not be around for much longer. But Dogecoin currently at 21 cents more or less, could hit an all-time high of $4. So a lot of potential for Dogecoin, and holding support off that 200 EMA as well as at the 50 on the RSI, forming a W. We could see this thing take off If it does not break this downward trend line, it starts getting a little bit more consolidation upwards towards 24 cents. Aerodrome, I brought this one up before the pump, right above the 200 EMA, around 76 cents, I believe. We had that major push up towards the downward trend line. It got rejected and then immediately bought back up, and then it tested this as support, which is kind of what we were waiting for, to see a better structure and ideally most likely a little bit of consolidation, potentially testing this as support a few more times before giving up while the 200 EMA starts to cause pressure and push the liquidity upwards for Aerodrome. Keep an eye on that one as well. It's looking very healthy. We are a little bit overbought in the RSI, so that's why I expect a little bit of consolidation. Moving to Ethereum. Ethereum's been on a mad run since pretty much April. We are up quite a bit for 4,000. Its all-time high being right here at 4,725. This will most likely have a little bit more of a consolidation. It's not against it to just immediately shoot right back up and create a new all-time high, as we are holding very strong in the CM Guppy, getting pushed up by the 50 area where the blue meets the green. And the RSI is getting right back to the 50 mark. We need a little bit of volume to see a push up, but we could see a little bit more consolidation. XCN. A lot of people are freaking out about XCN. It's nothing to worry about as we are oversold and we are still getting a volume pickup. We see that as trying to stabilize right around here. If you're looking at these volume candles down at the bottom, a little bit more pressure, and it's trying to hold that support at the 0.786 Fibonacci. Is it possible to hit the 1 retracement on Fibonacci? Yes, that is possible, and also likely if we see a continuation beyond this upward trend line. However, I feel that we are going to get a major retracement and pushing back up towards this downward trend line, and once that trend line is broken, we will see XCN push up, potentially retest that for a little while to test it as support, and then take off back to the all-time highs of around 18 cents. Just keep in mind that the possibility of heading back down to 0.009 or even potentially a little lower is a possibility to shake everybody out before ultimately taking off and rejecting everybody who could have made a lot of money by selling off at the absolute bottom. Keeping that in mind, we are still on this upward trend line here. So if we were to remove this line, this would be the next triangle of support we would be looking for, which meets right within the fair value gap, which is also at the previous low right here. So keeping that in mind as well, the 200 EMA is above XCN at the moment. But I feel when we do retrace, if it does, we're going to see a rapid pullback. So it's not much to worry about if you are trapped within this area, but it is not going to zero. It has a long way to the upside, looking in previous history and seeing many altcoins hit their all-time highs after getting some of a pump like this, as this is a very, very good looking chart. Moving on over to PIN. Not much to say about PIN, 200 EMA. That's it. Compound, still building higher lows, building that W, looks phenomenal. We just need to push back up over that 200 EMA. We are going to get support down here around $43 most likely if it does push lower, and then we would be oversold, which we would still need to retrace back to the 50 on the RSI. And we most likely may see this consolidate and start to push up like we've seen in the past. And we really just need to hold above that 200 EMA. If that does not happen, the next stopping point would be right in this area at 43. QNT, sneaking this one in as well. Still not much to worry about. 200 EMA, still holding support. We saw it do that major retracement, but it is holding support on the 200 EMA, and we're trying to form a W on the RSI. So when we cross back over the yellow, we may start seeing that push back up into this diamond and see a fake out for all of the bears. However, if we do see Bitcoin start to drop further, we may see quant pull back even more, which would be beyond the 200 EMA. Hopefully a little bit of resistance, or I guess support in this area. If not, the next step would be back down around the $88. However, if we were to hit that area, I believe we would see just as quick retracement, if not quicker, for QNT. Keeping in mind, none of this is financial advice. BNT, very, very healthy. Another bullish flag formation. If we were to draw this and you look up what a bull flag is, that's what that is. That's a bull flag. And when we break this downward trend, we can most likely expect a further push and stronger push towards the upside, finishing out the 39% potential profit with BNT. And if you're on the trading channel or signal channel, I guess, we are currently up quite a bit. I think we're here, 112%. So not bad entry for BNT, looking very healthy. However, we are seeing that if we do run out of some steam, breaking this upward trend line could push BNT back down towards the 200 EMA, even the 618 Fibonacci being 0.65 cents. DNT and GRT, and that's it for this video. DNT in consolidation, trying to break this 200 EMA very strongly, looking very healthy with the CM guppy pushing it up, causing a lot of pressure between the CM guppy and the 200 EMA. When we get over that 200 EMA and the 0.03, DNT has a very long way to go. If you have not stacked your bags for DNT, that's not a bad bet either. Keeping in mind there may be some other more utile tokens out there. If you're looking for some quick gains, when this does pop up, you have to be quick on the in, quick on the out. But DNT is definitely what it's all about. So that's it for this video. Besides GRT, which we'll do quickly, just this trend line. Say this is the line we are trying to hold above, and essentially trying to create a higher low than this previous high. If we can push this water back up along this black trend line, we can start seeing a push up towards the previous high. And if we can close above that, the next resistance is this 10 cents, which would be meeting at the 200 EMA. That's it for this video. Like and subscribe if you want. References for MEXC grass free airdrop money in the description below. And good luck, have fun with it. I will see you on the next one.